And it is now my privilege to bring to the stage New York Times bestselling author, Dateline NBC correspondent, Today Show anchor, and our very own Virginia Tech Hokie, Hoda Kotb.
Oh my gosh.
We heard that's your favorite.
Kathy Lee is going to be so happy that you brought her wine. Everywhere we go to a restaurant, Kathy Lee goes, they don't have my wine. We're not eating here. So
well, and it's almost 10, so we figured it's about time for you to, pour up, right? Okay, so I'm interviewed a lot about small business and entrepreneurship, and they always say, what characteristics does a good business person need? And I always say you have to have passion and perseverance. So 1986, you graduate very passionately in your degree in broadcast journalism, and you go for your first and what you think is going to be your last only interview you're ever going to have. How'd that go for you, Hoda? We're so excited to have Laura Evans, who's a veteran award-winning journalist here. She's been here for 15 years, and she's going to talk to us about how you get on local television. So welcome, Laura.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, Wayne. So I'm so excited to have you on the show. When I heard you speak in Los Angeles, it was just one after the other of how you have created your own success in the media. So I would love for you to share some stories, starting when you were 16 years old, son of a butcher, and you got your first media exposure, and I know you couldn't afford a publicist back then, so.
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be on. Thank you, Christina, for having me here.
So Tommy, I asked you to come today. I wanted to talk about building relationships in the media.
Yes.
And we met a year ago at an event.
Perfect example.
Perfect example. So I wanted to kind of talk about how that works. When you meet a producer, what do you do? How do you build that relationship to hopefully eventually get on that show?
I mean, the first thing is you have to find out whether or not there's a connection there with whatever you're pitching and with the show.
All right, so welcome, MB. I'm so excited to have you here with us today. So tell us, what kinds of things do you look for in Parade? Is it products? Do you want experts who can source stories? Are you looking for freelancers? What makes up Parade?
We're always looking for an interesting hook.
Harrow is the greatest thing ever. It is. I have been on national television, local television, major publications, all because of Harrow. Everyone's an expert. Please tell our audience about it. I want everyone to sign up for it. Welcome, Charlotte.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thank you. So it is so important when you're getting your message across, whether it's television, radio, anywhere, you have this short, finite amount of time. So you're gonna talk to us about how important that is and some tips to effectively get your message across.
Well, the interesting thing is that you, in fact, long before you open your mouth, have 2 seconds in which you make your impression.
Okay, so welcome Jonah Berger, #1 New York Times bestselling author. So excited to have you here. I loved your book. When you interviewed me and you said to me, why haven't you sent this to the Post before? I said, I have sent it over and over again.
Right.
So I wanted you to kind of explain backroom at a newspaper when you send in a story idea or a press release, what happens?
Well, you really have the human factor going on.
I asked you to come because I have the story. My very first television appearance, I was in Texas and I had no idea. And I wore a white shirt and my little bit of makeup and I looked awful, just like a ghost. So when you do get that local television appearance, oftentimes you get the call the night before. Like I got a call one time at 6 o'clock at night to be at the station 9 the next morning. So we have our model Samantha here, and you're going to show us tips on what you can do for the perfect television makeup.
There's always something around the corner.
You're right, there is. And I think the rejection part of it makes the other thing sweeter.
So another mantra that we kind of share with business is just ask, right? The worst anyone's going to say is no. We all can handle no now, right? Piece of cake. So tell us some stories where you just asked.
My question is, you have people like Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, Susie Orman, these big experts in their industries. And I got to thinking, at some point, they got booked on a show. They were just a local expert and they submitted something. How did somebody like that get their start? So welcome, John. I'm so excited to have you here. And I would love to talk about, if you had a top-rated podcast, I'm sure that you were pitched hundreds of times. So what could make a pitch stand out to you? What would make you want to read more, and what would make you want to have that guest on?
No, well, first off, Christina, thank you for having me on. Love what you have going on here. I'm excited to have you on Entrepreneur on Fire to share your journey, so people are going to get to find the inside scoop of Christina.